The name Rastafari comes from His Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie. He was Rastafari before he was crowned Emperor Haile Selassie. Emperor Haile Selassie is his coronation name. We who saw him as a biblical fulfillment became known as Rastafarians. We are his sons and he is Rastafari and we are Rastafarians.
Selassie! Rastafari! Allah. By thee shall all barriers be broken.
In Jamaica, we always worship a white Christ and a white king and a white queen. They didn't learn us anything of a black king. So when I saw a photograph of a black king in the front page of the Daily Gleaner, I said to my father, I never know we have a black king. He said, yes, man. I said, how you know? He said, he was crowned 1930 in Ethiopia. 52 nations went to his coronation. I said, then how can I know about it? He said, read your Bible.
They that sow in tears shall reap in joy.
There had always been a stream among the people of memory. We had not completely forgotten Africa.
And he that goeth forth weeping burn pressing seed.
If there is anything we contribute to Jamaica society, one of the major things is wisdom, to get them wise. Get the society wise. Know that you're black, know that you're African, know that you're suffering by colonialism or neo-colonialism or whatever.
Bringing the sheaves with him. 144,000 elected saints. Black women and children numberless at the sun of the seashore. Crying out, Sila!
Selassie Jah Rastafari.
Born in 1887, Marcus Garvey is considered the greatest prophet amongst Rastafarians. In 1916, he emigrated to the United States. There, he established a chapter of his Universal Negro Improvement Association, an organization which set about restoring pride and dignity amongst Africans and people of African descent. His Pan-Africanist philosophies have been the springboard from which most black nationalist and African independence leaders have based their struggles. His mantra being, "Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will."
Marcus Garvey tradition was kept in the years following the waning of the UNIA, was kept alive by Rastas.
Well, Rastafari is the unity and love of black people, you know. That is the first meaning of Rastafari. Unity and love of black people get together, self-awareness, self-reliance. You don't depend on the next nation to do nothing for you, you have to depend on your own. You know, Marcus Garvey speak of it. Self-awareness, self-reliance, self-confidence.
Marcus Garvey had told us that we were to look to Ethiopia. And when a king is crowned, then we know that our deliverance would be at hand. Now that the king was crowned in 1930, followers of Garvey saw this as a fulfillment. And there the movement was formed.
Marcus Garvey didn't actually in any speech prophesy about the rise of an African king. But he did write a play, performed the play, entitled The Crowning of the King and Queen of Africa. The closing scene was a coronation, and those words, "Look to Africa when the king and queen is crowned, to know that your hour of redemption is at hand," must have occurred in that play. So when the actual coronation of Selassie took place, and his Empress Menen, the Howell, and a number of people, independently of each other, began to attach significance to that because of what Garvey was said.
Leonard Howell was a follower of Marcus Garvey and a member of the UNIA. Charismatic and outspoken, he criticized the colonial interpretation of the Bible, and in 1934 began to spread his belief that Christ had returned to earth as a black man.
Leonard Howell is the forerunner for Rastafari. because he's the first one that come and say Rastafari is God.
This is the site of the Great House where Leonard Howell once lived. He had purchased this property in 1934, 300 acres. And the inhabitants there were all Rastafarians, about 1,800 of them. And this is the top. Overlooking 2 or 3 parishes in Jamaica. You have Clarendon, St. Catherine, and you can see as far as Kingston. So this view covers 3 parishes of the 14 parishes in Jamaica. A very beautiful scenery.
When I come to Pinnacle, 1940, and that day when I came was the 6th of February, 1940. 1940, become a Pinnacle. The 6th of February. And the bookman checked that day. It was 1,798 and people never finished coming in. Him have to feed the whole people then.
They were a community of followers settling, and each had his or her own plot of land in which you cultivated and so on and sold the crops and so on. They raised goats, they raised cash crops and so forth. But Howell made a point of using ganja as a cash crop, which used to be sold in the marketplace in Kingston. It was at the time, although it was proscribed from 1925, it was never really prosecuted, so that it was possible to find ganja sold openly.
To me see right now, if the government could free ganja, better free. I cook we want team fight, you know, and free ganja. In this part of the community, I'd help to build a house and everything and buy one vehicle. Just the weed, you know, and the yam and thing. Then we live off of Morris. Just the weed me depend on.
Howell amassed a considerable fortune from ganja, and the Rastas became inextricably linked with its cultivation. The early followers grew beards to emulate Haile Selassie and regarded Howell as a prophet.
When you see him, you have to stand up, take off your cap, and bow to him. And a black man, you know. It's a black man, arise and shine, for the light has come.
They used to sing songs to him, just as I always sing a song to Jesus Christ. You know, they sang songs about Howell. You know.
Once he was gang. You ever hear them call him gang? He was gang Gunguru Maharaj. He was counselor. He was counselor here. He was Rastafari. You see one man.
When Howell come here, he come and wake us up to those things. And when he told us about Rastafari and we check history, we say the return Messiah. For Christ means Savior. So Rastafari is our Savior.
Rastas used to be stoned on the streets. They were considered derelicts and outcasts and so forth at one time, and madmen. Mad.
The imperial government didn't want you to say Rastafari is God or to show the people the truth. Because they may show you a false God and you will show the right God. So he will oppress you and persecute you for it. You understand? Him say that you is madman.
He live at St. Abbas. Them come all up there. Then do all kind of things to him that is wicked. And have a house up there when rent, 7-room furnished. And all the members and kings and all both come there. And we say them plan, then government plan to come in and do damage. And tear down and match and beat the people them. and him leave 7-room furnished, and him leave St. Thomas with 1 suit pan him back, and he don't return back there yet. So you see, every knee have to bend, and every tongue have to confess. You hear me say? So I was living in Kingston, and he leave and go to St. Thomas and rent out 7-room furnished, me I tell you, 7-room. A man like that and him has 7-room furniture must understand what kind of house, understand the kind of man. And then come down and mash up to the government say, if they can't bring how will I bring your head for them and say blood for it, blood run. You see it? You not see it yet. When they do him, them can't pay for it.
Howell was pursued by the colonial government, who believed his castigation of whites and message of a black Christ would destabilize the colonies. He was denounced by the authorities and imprisoned several times, spending many years committed to Bellevue Mental Asylum.
Howell, at the trial, spoke in tongues and behaved as a religious person who is inspired, would possibly behave in a manner that made them feel that he was mad. For example, he went silent after a while. You ask him questions, he could never penetrate that silence.
If he's not a man like you, you know, still a man. He says not a man very easy to know. And when you see him disappear from you, that's the kind of man. A funny man.
It's been a history whereby the state uses dementia as a way of delegitimating certain religious figures and slandering them and so on. The fact is that if you believe in a God, that's madness, because you can't touch and feel God. So there's a touch of madness in everybody, for that matter, and it's only a matter of society's definitions and measures that you can say somebody is completely mad.
Rastafari.
After years of discrimination, many Rasta communities have separated from mainstream society. They have established communes where they continue to preach the back to Africa philosophies of Marcus Garvey and adhere to strict religious practices. They are not permitted to eat meat, drink alcohol, or smoke cigarettes.
Man will chop Mussolini bombs to the Lord of World War. King Emmanuel is 7.
Adonai God,
Tell the nation about this. Tell them the comfort of the Black Christ has come with the joy of salvation to heart and soul.
Rastafari. Give thanks for the God in three persons, Blessed Trinity, Prophet, Priest, and King. Give thanks for the royal prophet who come in the darker days and say, up your mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Read for the stars of equality and justice. Equality and justice stand for one. Equality and justice stand for all. Those and they that love Satan's kingdom will have to fall, said our Father. Marcus I.
Set deep in the hills of St. Thomas, this is Bath, a place of spiritual healing for the Rastas. They believe that a slave was once beaten by his master and visited these hot springs, where the wounds to his back were miraculously healed. The waters are said to possess great healing powers.
The old man in this country and trim and shave you for your beard, having on your beard. If you go to get a work and have on your beard, they tell you must go and trim and come back. In those days, the few people that you see have on beard, they call them Donna Michi or Clark Gable. But not until Rastafari came into existence and we saw the beard, man started to use beard. So that is how beard started to come. And then they started to call you Rastafari. In the mid-50s, locks come about. When there was fighting in Kenya to get independent, you have a set of people named the Mama. They didn't trim them here because they're fighting a war. But they bring a show in Jamaica named Something of Value. They show us two generals, General China and General Komachi.
In the 1950s, late 40s, there was a group called the Youth Black Faith. They developed a sense of aggression, aided and abetted in a way by the contemporary struggles of the Kenyan people, pictures of whom appeared as a dreadlocks, people wearing the matted hair. Also, one of my informants who was critical in this whole development told me that they took on to themselves that outcast, derelict image precisely to offend the society. In other words, you call us outcasts? Well, we are indeed outcasts. We're not a part of you because our society is Africa.
We become extremists. We extreme. My parents didn't like it in the first. Some of my parents call me troublemaker. Making trouble, you want police come and want police come do with this and want police come do with that. But we don't care,
It is a dreadlocks more than anything else that signals a transformation. It's that part of you which you can easily change. You can change your self-concepts, you can change your religions, you can change your identity and so on. Nobody would know that. But once you wear that locks, you signal that kind of change. To be wearing visibly hair that is considered bad, hard to manage, and which is a mark of an inferior person then, and appropriating that and glorying in that.
Dreadlocks gradually became a visible symbol of militancy, and in 1960 the movement captured international headlines when Reverend Claudius Henry, a Rasta initiate, and 38 of his followers were arrested in an alleged plot to overthrow the government. A letter addressed to Castro was found, urging him to invade Jamaica and promising assistance from the group. Fearing an invasion from Cuba, the colonial government instituted naval patrols and went as far as requesting assistance from the United States.
A man by the name of Reverend Henry was in America and he come to Jamaica and start to preach Rasta doctrine. He was training some youth with some gun. Well, the colonial government never liked it. So they eventually charged him for subversive activity.
Claudius Henry didn't come as no savior to save the Rasta. Him come no pretending say him is member of the Ethiopian World Federation. And him farm a thing named 70 Manuel Brethren and take out member of the Ethiopian World Federation to join it. They want to overthrow the government, but they might involve Rasta, say Rasta, then Rasta don't know politics. And
then his son, Reverend Henry, and 6 more other brethren come from America with gun, said them come to take out them father out of prison. Well, they ambush some Hampshire soldier, that is a British man soldier, white man, and killed 2 and wounded 1 and make them escape. So the soldier then report to Mr. Manley, Norman Manley, that is Rasta, kill them and them. So Mr. Manley say to the nation over the radio, anyway you see 2 or 3 Rasta together, report to the nearest police station. Well, Brother Plano, with me and Sam Brown, write Sarata Lewis at the University of the West Indies. Tell him to come and investigate the Rasta movement to prove that the movement is not subversive. So Sarata Lewis sent Rex Neckleford, Ajay, and Smith come and investigate the movement. After they find out the truth of Rasta, they write a book showing that Rastafari are non-subversive. We are Christian. We say Rastafari is God and we want to go back to Africa. So they recommend Mr. Manley to receive a 10-man delegation from the Rasta movement to send to Africa. We went to Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. In Nigeria, Dr. Para told us that he's glad to see that we forgive them, that we want to come back to Nigeria, knowing that the stronger tribe did sold some of our foreparents into slavery. And land is there for us. He wants us to come. In Ethiopia, the emperor said, people of the West that is of African descent, as long as you're black and is of African descent, we are entitled to come. The land is there for them.
The mission to Africa and the subsequent report by the University of the West Indies on the activities of the Rastafarians allayed some of the government's fears. However, worse was yet to come for the Rastas.
In 1963, there was an incident take place in Carroll Garden, Mobile, with the Rastaman and the people. It was said that 6 Rastaman killed a man and burned down a gas station. The police force come in and kill 3 of the Rastaman, lock up 2, and 1 was at large. And they take 300 Rastaman in jail, put them in jail. And Sir Alexander Bustamante says, if the jail cannot hold them, throw them on Bogill. Bogill is a cemetery in Mobile. So that means it's to kill them.
Then start gather Rastaman, then start gather any man we have on bed. The Prime Minister said they must bring us in dead or alive. Anywhere the Rastaman there, the policeman go for him, you know. From St. James to St. Elizabeth, straight on to St. Anne's. Every jail packed with Rastaman. Because remember them say carry them in dead or alive, so whole heap dead out there too.
The leader of the country say carrying Rasta dead or alive. So then go all down and take grass back to trim off their head, because they don't want to go in. and hide in a mud down a railway lane down at the slaughterhouse, yes. When they kill Melbourne out there. Yes. See them that time? Rasta shave off their head clean. And me know them, they went jagger and hang down, because I tell you, see a long time me know Rasta.
They used to cut Rastafarians' locks for nothing at all. So Rastafarians had to go down the gullies sometime in order to transport himself from point A to point B. If you walk on the streets, people would terrorize you also and call for the policeman and say, there goes a black heart man. And the police would come down on you for nothing at all.
My opinion said the government right. You ask me a question, me give you an answer.
The constant persecution of the Rastas elevated the movement's status amongst the people, who were becoming despondent with the government.
It happened that the young people caught the vision of Rastafari, and they did at the time because there were a lot of answers, the questions that the society couldn't answer. The slow movement of an economy, the independence, but you don't feel the independence. Independence was in '62, but from what were we independent, you know, and you couldn't feel anything. And the Rastas began to articulate, not began, but they had been articulating this.
In 1966, Emperor Haile Selassie visited Jamaica. This gave the Rastafarians much needed credibility, and for the first time, Rastas were rubbing shoulders with the middle classes and ruling elite. Galvanized by the Rastas' enthusiasm for the emperor, the public gathered to see the man the Rastas revered as God.
Emperor Haile Selassie's visit was amazing in that he was the only official or head of state to come to Jamaica and had such a large gathering. People went over the stairs, came downstairs and was around the foot of the plane, smoking herbs, you know, lighting up pipe. Police ran all over the place, soldiers. Protocol was completely broken down. It was thousands of people came to the airport in that day. Emperor Haile Selassie had to call for Mortimmo Plano to take him from the plane steps because of the large crowd that gathered around the steps. The official spoke over a microphone and says, call in Mortimmo Plano, call in Mortimmo Plano. He came over in seconds and was right at the plane step with His Majesty.
We met him at King's House, and he said to us, how long does the Rastafarian movement start in Jamaica? We said to him, ever since your coronation, Your Majesty, the 2nd of November, 1930. He said to us, your work are purposeful. We must continue in our endeavor. That means we don't stop the Rasta. Right? Him say, but here when we say now, you must centralize and organize.
The emperor's endorsement reduced tensions and gave weight to the political demands of the movement.
The visit of Selassie confirmed Rastafari beliefs for many people. Many people were, you know, convicted in Rasta from that day.
No man, no afraid of it, man.
The first house really had no particular leader, away from Howell, who was the original leader. But after a while, men broke away, form other houses, maybe because of location and things like that. A man will farm a house, give it a name. And in addition to that, by building up doctrines of their own, you might find little differences from house to house or between houses and houses.
In the beginning, all camp that based upon Rastafari. It's after a while now, man start to call him camp different name. Some call it Nyabingi, Some call it 12 tribe. Some call it Ethiopian World Federation. Then the movement moved to the four corners of the island. East, north, south and west. Man saying Rasta.
In the history of Jamaican folk religions, and this is one of the reasons why you know that Rasta is a folk religion, the centers of organization, are anywhere, anytime, any place. So they spring up all over.
As the Rasta doctrine spread throughout the island, a renewed sense of pride in Africa took hold. It was only a matter of time before Pan-Africanist demands began to be articulated.
Rastafari really wants repatriation. We don't want migration. We didn't spend any money to come to the West. So most naturally, we shouldn't be responsible for going back to Africa, where money is concerned. The Jews got reparations, and we should have gotten it also. Who want to go back to Africa? A part of the reparations can take us there. Who want to stay home? A part of the reparations can rehabilitate them who want to stay here. So we really need repatriation to go back to our own country to rebuild Africa.
Them have if 400 hard year in a slavery, man, I work for nothing, man. Time come for them pay we, but for them nation rich. England have any rubber tree? Tell me. But look how much rubber England have. Eh? Where we get it from? Africa. They want to eat. We can go Africa go reap one of things. Them go Africa and take away all our things and carry enough for them, man. And make themselves rich.
Jamaica is just a dot on the map. A open prison, as you could see, surrounded by water. We build up the West already, what more they want from us. Send us back up now. Build back our land.
Well, drumming is really a part of the African culture. In Africa, the African use drums for various reasons. Even to send messages as a form of communication, to entertain themselves, rituals and dances. So we brought that with us here in the West. There is some form of spirituality in the beating of the drums. The sound goes down into the earth. It travels to the fire key, and the fire key ascends the fire and smokes into the atmosphere, which makes contact with the Almighty and with the energies of the world.
Early developments of the music, Rastafari artists were influential, expressing that deep desire for Africa, critique against the society.
When he come,
When the young people came in it, they brought with it, into it, their own lifestyle and their own passions and so on. And that's how the music became associated with the Rastafari, because these were young musicians, you know, who caught the vision of Rastafari, young artists, and incorporated that vision in their art. By the 1960s, every artist, every aspiring artist wanted to be a dreadlocks and had, as it were, to dread as a garb of distinction, you know.
Not until Bob Marley now become a Rasta and use reggae music as a vehicle to spread the word of Rasta internationally, that Rasta became international. I was the one who cultured Rita Marley, Bonnie Wailers, Peter Touch, when Bob was in Delaware. When Bob came back from Delaware, they bring Bob to me, and he got a bit of the culture also. When I first introduced Bob to Mortimmo Plano, the first thing that Mortimmo tried to do was to get him to be independent in the music fraternity, so as not to depend on the producers who would exploit entertainers in those days.
Bob wanted to do him one business. If I want to leave Coxton, for me David Coxton, but him never get justice according to him. Say if him not come, we can't help him, you know, do him one business. But me couldn't do no business with him. Me did have my business at home. Me's a man who's a ganja man. Me that deal with my ganja business. Me don't have no time for him. Me don't have no time for music and things like that. And me prejudice bad. So like how you no Rasta, me no talk to you and all them kind of things there. And, you know, me prejudice. Me tell him some know Haile Selassie, meet Haile Selassie, me go Africa and meet Haile Selassie. Wherever him comes here, every Rasta man I say Haile Selassie a God. So him can come meet a man who meet Haile Selassie now. So him find it appetizing to sit down and talk to me who talk to God.
After being at Marty assisted in cutting some music for him, you know, music like Chances Are and Haile Selassie's The Chapel and music like those. As a matter of fact, Marty has a little hand in almost all of Bob's songs while he was with him, because he used to put in a line here and there, you know, and things like that. He really assisted him and strengthened him in the makeup of his lyrics.
Bob got shot at one of them rehearsal and leave and go England, exile. Like Rita get shot in her head and him get shot in them elbow. You know, him sing a tune named You're running and you're running and you're running away. You can't run away from yourself.
You're running away. You're running away. You're running away.
April now, him going come from England, for him go to England after him get shot and things like that. Bob now tell Manley say, him want to do something for Jamaica, but him no want no politics attached to it. So him go do a concert, peace concert. So him ask what him to do. So me say me da like you call Manley and Bust and Siago and show them. Tell them to them cause a division between people within political party business, get people and them want to get them united and things. He said, can't do that. say, what? He said he can't do that.
At the peace concert, Mortimmo Plano was trying to get Bob Marley, to get the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition to shake hands. When he told Bob, Bob said, "Oh boss, are you for do that, you know?" It's like he didn't think he could manage it. And 3 consecutive times he told Bob to do it.
Vex, Bob, vex. Anyhow, when Bob time come for perform, him come out. First thing, him make a dumb sign, sing a dumb tune, say, "You two send them come, shout me." It's a dumb tune, no words, but him a demonstrate it. Say, "You two," which is Manley and Siago, send gunman, come shoot him. You understand? And anyhow, him start broke out and sing jamming. You jamming, you jamming, you jamming, you jamming, and him a dance thing. The balance is it.
Could we have up here, on stage here, the presence of Mr. Michael Manley and Mr. Edward Siaga. Oh! Love and prosperity be with us all. Jah Rastafari.
Then when I'm blocking your phone number, you call me over your best friend's house. And it's not hot that I can even go out with my girlfriends without tracking me down. You need to chill out with that mess, cause you can't keep having me stressed. Cause every time my phone rings, it seems to be you, and I'm praying that it is someone else. So what? You bought a pair of shoes, but now I guess you think I owe you.
The political undercurrents of Bob Marley's music established the Rastafarians as a voice of the oppressed. With no party allegiance and contemptuous of Jamaica's two-party system, the Rastas are vocal critiques of the corruptions and failings of both parties.
I think the system purposely and intentionally tried to keep some of us poor. And we, the Rastafarians, have cited that. All the hullabaloo about poverty and trying to eradicate poverty, that's only a mask. They really don't want to eradicate poverty. If you are poor, you have to go through extreme fight to get out of it and to eat a decent food. If you just sit there and lay back, you'll always be poor and be servants of these people. I think the politicians use the people in the ghetto to gain political mileage. You have 2 parties, and the people that is educated cannot be used. That's why education is very important. They will probably look on politics as it is. But in the ghetto, you don't have a chance to make a choice for yourself. If you are in a PNP area, you have to say PNP. You have to defend your turf and terrain. If you're in a Labourite area, you have to say Labour, Jamaica Labour Party. So politics divide the people. You have good people on both sides in politics. Even the dons of the PNP and the dons of the Labour Party. They are good to their people that is under them or around them or surrounds them. But when it comes to the opposing party, there's always a crossfire. So I'd say politics divide the people in Jamaica. And good people too. People that could be good to the poor, there's a split. So you have good people fighting against good people in defense of a political party. And if a party is going to give you a thing or two, whether cash or kind, being a poor man, you'll be tempted to and attracted to get something. And then again, it's not all the poor people gets attention either. You know, it's only the diehards, those who gather around their ministers from day to day and from time to time and from campaign to campaign. These are the people that get benefits. But if they don't see your face, no benefits. Guns are used to fight against each other politically. And as far as public opinion is concerned, we have got to find out that these same very guns were given to the ghetto youths by the politicians in defense of their political party.
We live in an area where right now is a garrison area and it's a PMP stronghold. Lose already, but that cause on the politics where ballot box have stolen and all them things there. And let me tell you, it divide where someone does them bringing gun and all type of things happen. Where we don't really want even go in a certain thing politically. But one day we're going to see where all things just come under one as black man. Yeah, man. Earth have to prevail with peace. And a Rasta have to do that. We don't vote pan just where we see and how you would take a MP. We vote as according to the area where you live. But them have them way how them deal with it. Them leave it pan we for a while. Right, divide us so much.
Have you participated in any of this yourself?
Well, I'm on there and things happen at times, yes. I man take part because at times me represent a member group and we politically so and move around and see what go on within the inside apartheid. And born come see my mother PMP and my father PMP. Them vote for PMP. So we born and grow come see this thing here. And we make sure we deal with the positive part of it. As you can hear in the background, that is shot where you have adults, man, we have no control on that unless you go directly go out there and deal with a man and say don't do this or don't do that.
So why is it?
Cut it. Man, yeah.
Yeah, man, the piece. So Bigger, you were saying about the gunshot?
Yeah, guy. As you talk, you can hear 2 rings, so you can know how to get around.
Looks and all of me, make me have a crush, Even momentarily, me just want to touch, Where bad man not do now, eh? We not play when it come on to the woman them. Cause I have some boy I go the wrong way, and I look on the men them. So listen. Me love the way the girl them a go on when me see them a perform certain things where them a fan make me need them. Rockford we a request every girl with stick burst and it have to manifest because me need them. Well if a girl me Spanish fly try to get them be alive just to get a little blind because me need them. Well me have to confess woman really God bless that does the thing where them possess. Yo! Woman me scrutinize because me find them personable. And them me hypnotize and take them on a higher level. Walk them down to size them know me unconquerable. Now go ease up when me know me sitting label. Female me check for some me have them in a quantity. Love the gal them bad some me kill them with fidelity. Me and me gal them load me chalice burn it down to the gritty. Love the gal them bad me nah quit it. So what? Under one advice. Inside nice. So listen. The conscience of holy should have known where she told they don't in a bed man.
There has always been a kind of anarchic revolutionary stream that flows through the popular music. That's part of it. The music is a medium for relating to society. It's so whether here or in Trinidad, and that is the tradition.
These artists really try to sing and speak about their surroundings. Whatever they see in their surroundings, that's what they write in their lyrics. So it might appear at times that a DJ might be negative, but he's really speaking about the only thing he knows.
Reggae music has bridged the gap between the Rastas and mainstream society. They are now tolerated as part of the cultural makeup of Jamaica. However, deep prejudices still exist throughout the Caribbean towards those who choose to wear their hair in dreadlocks. Many are stereotyped as criminals, vagrants and drug dealers. It is a constant battle for the Rastas, who have always distanced themselves from those who appropriate the dreadlocks without embracing the disciplines.
We have people wearing locks who are not Rasta, but they just love the look of the locks. You call them fashion dreads. They wear the locks because it looks good. They didn't wear it because of the concept of Rastafari. So they will be mistaken for a Rastafarian, but you really know a Rastafarian because of what he says or what he delivers.
Today, sometimes you see a Rasta man, him don't bother study you, because we get so enough now that it don't trouble a man again. You understand? Him don't feel no way, because everywhere you go up on the corner, you see a Rasta.
Most movements, you don't even have to fight against it, and it dwindles. But this movement, mother fight against it, father fight against it, sister fight against it, brother, teacher, nurse, pastor, everybody, the whole system fight against it. And instead of it dwindles, it spreads globally.
Peoples of different ethnicities and of different nationalities and races can appropriate central messages of Rastafari. What this will mean, in fact, is that there'll be an international movement or Rastafari movement, you know.
If you go to Japan, you'll find Rastafarians. If you go to Europe, you find Rastafarians. If you go to America, you find Rastafarians. And if you go to Africa, you have Rastafarians. And it really started from up here in Pinnacle. You had about 1,800 people to 2,000 people. And now I think you have a fair amount of people saying Rastafarian in the world.
Rastas and reggae music have generated much needed foreign currency for Jamaica. Their association with the island has helped establish Jamaica as one of the Caribbean's top tourist locations. The government is happy to exploit the iconic imagery of Rasta, yet refuses to officially recognize the movement.
There is another change that is taking place locally in Jamaica, which is of great significance. The Rastas have begun a kind of a transition into a greater sense of being a religious community. They are elaborating more rituals. They are writing their own songs. The earlier songs of Rastas were revival songs with new words, you know, new wine in old bottles, if you will. Now they're putting together their own songs. They have tabernacles, and they've appointed high priests, you know, and so forth. Britain and in some of the states in the United States, a Rastafari can claim religious status, which therefore frees them from discrimination and so on. Right here, Rasta has not yet even been formally recognized as a religion. It is not, the Rastas have twice, I believe, in their the last 30 years appealed to Parliament for incorporation status, and they've been denied. Yet a church like the Latter-day Saints, which until recently used to believe that black people could not share the same heaven as white people, has been granted, has been incorporated here. Well, Rastas don't have that. They have been denied that twice.
So,
the society will in fact come to grips with Rasta in the full sense. I think it's a matter of time before the Parliament grants it status, incorporated status, so that Rasta can be settled, you know, in as a part of the religious landscape.
Anyway, you're going to the world, you see a Rasta. All white man become Rasta now too. Go to Europe, you see enough Rasta, and it's Rasta carry the doctrine all about. I am one of the first man that travel the world preaching Rasta doctrine.
Rastafari message of peace and love is just natural. Because even if you go biblical, the Bible speaks of love and it speaks of peace. And there's nothing better than peace. And the Rasta man has realized that and is trying to get across to the people to show them that it's better for us to live in love and unity and peace and harmony than fighting against each other.
Me still a Rasta and me not stop. You can't take Rasta out of me. You can't take me out of Rasta. So if you try, till you can't try no more. I'm just Rastafari.
A lot of people die for the cause, and we associate ourselves with that struggle, dying for the cause. We don't mind dying for the cause. Up to now, we don't mind dying for the cause, for we know them willing out and able to get rid of us. Those who they can, but the struggle must go on. A luta continue. The struggle must go on.